Coming up on KTVH News at 5, two bills that would increase restrictions on abortions here in Montana draw emotional testimony from supporters and opponents. Plus, how the second U.S. stimulus payment is creating confusion among some recipients.
From Montana's news leader, this is MTN News at 5.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the News at 5. I'm Andy Curtis, and thanks for joining us. Well, the first of several anti-abortion bills at the 2021 Montana legislature had their first committee hearings on Tuesday morning at the state capitol, prompting strong emotions on both sides of the issue. But the big difference this session, as MTN's Mike Dennison reports, these bills have a much better chance at becoming state law.
The House Judiciary Committee heard two bills on Tuesday, one that would ban abortions in Montana after 20 weeks of pregnancy, and another to place restrictions on abortion-inducing pills, or so-called chemical abortions. The latter bill would require these pills to be dispensed only in person, require the woman to sign several consent forms, and prohibit distribution of the pills at college campuses or schools. Lucia Marood of Students for Life said college-age women are being marketed these drugs by unscrupulous distributors.
Every phone can become an abortion vendor capable of distributing chemical abortion pills. This kind of anonymous purchase also allows abusers to get the pills and gives them the capacity to slip a pill into the food or drink of unsuspecting women and force them to have an unwanted abortion.
Opponents said the bill is an insult to women, essentially saying they can't make their own reproductive decisions, even after they've been raped.
Let me get this straight. So now, in addition to the risk of pregnancy from forced sex by a partner or someone else, House Bill 171 wants us to be subjected to the extreme barriers to accessing basic medical care after the assault.
Abortion opponents also lined up for House Bill 136, which creates the abortion ban after 20 weeks of pregnancy. They called it a constitutionally allowable protection both for the unborn and women because, they assert, later-term abortions are more likely to go wrong. But they also said they hope it's just one small step toward banning all abortions.
I firmly believe that the day will soon come when the United States Supreme Court will see the error of its ways and overturn Roe v. Wade in its entirety. But until it does, we'll continue to chip away around the edges to save the lives of as many women and children as possible.
Opponents, however, said these types of bans have often been struck down by the courts, and such action is even more likely in Montana, with its strict constitutional privacy protections.
Our constitutional right to privacy in Montana extends much further than the federal right to privacy. We urge you to vote no, to leave medical decisions to patients and their providers, and to save the state from a lengthy court battle.
The committee will hear two additional abortion-related bills Wednesday, including one to require that women wanting an abortion must be given a chance to see an ultrasound and listen to the heartbeat of the fetus. The committee plans to vote on the bills by Friday and will likely send them to the House floor next week, where, with a strong Republican majority, they very well could pass. Republican lawmakers in Montana have passed similar bills many times in the past 16 years, only to see them vetoed by Democratic governors. But our new governor, Greg Gianforte, is a Republican and very much pro-life. If he signs any of these bills, get ready for a court battle. At the Capitol, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
The bills heard Tuesday are sponsored by Representatives Lola Sheldon Galloway of Great Falls and Sharon Grief of Florence. But now changing gears and with a look at our weather king of the road, Chief Meteorologist Curtis Grevenitz.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Kind of a rough ride through parts of the Lewistown area here because of some blowing snow. You can see on the Lewistown Divide, a little snow. Of course, we had several inches near Lewistown, and now with the wind blowing through the area, it's blowing some of that snow around. So a winter weather advisory continues until noontime tomorrow in that area. And speaking of the wind, along the Rocky Mountain front out through Toole County, Cascade, Judith Basin County, Wheatland County, down through the Judith Gap area, a high wind warning. Get this. Just south of East Glacier, a 96-mile-per-hour wind gust already, and a lot of wind gusts in that area are over 50 miles per hour. It will be a windy Wednesday, and for those that haven't seen much snow, say it ain't snow. We'll talk about some flakes of flying, and the real cold gets real close. I'll have more of the forecast coming up.
As President-elect Joe Biden prepares for tomorrow's inauguration ceremony, we now know about a dozen soldiers have been relieved of duty in D.C. after an intense background check. Officials stress at this time they've found no guard connection to any extremist groups. Lawmakers from both parties insist that Wednesday's ceremony will go on, just like it has for more than 200 years, though this year it will be under the watchful eye of a security force that we now know will stay in place through at least the end of the month.
Tomorrow, President-elect Biden and Vice President-elect Harris will be sworn in. We'll have a safe and successful inaugural right here on the west front of the Capitol.
The focus for everyone right now is tomorrow's ceremony and what the FBI continues to call credible threats of violence. And when Joe Biden is inaugurated Wednesday as the country's 46th president, Montana's congressional delegation will be attending. But the details of exactly where they'll be isn't being released. Montana's two U.S. senators, Democrat Jon Tester and Republican Steve Daines, and Republican Congressman Matt Rosendale all said they plan to attend Wednesday's inauguration. It's being held outside on the west side of the U.S. Capitol. But because of security concerns, they haven't said exactly where they'll be. All attendees must go through a health and security screening, and most traditional events after the ceremony have been canceled. Senator Tester said afterwards he's heading back to his Senate office to go to work. He said Congress needs to start working now on getting the pandemic under control and reopening the economy. He also said he's met with Montana National Guardsmen assigned to provide security at the inauguration, and Daines said he plans to meet with them as well. As the new Congress convenes, Tester will be in the slender Democratic majority in the Senate, while Daines and Rosendale will be in their respective Republican minorities. Now, you can watch the inauguration of Joseph R. Biden tomorrow on the KTVH streaming app for Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, or Android TV. Coverage starts at 9:30 and will continue throughout the morning. And President Donald Trump becomes former President Donald Trump Wednesday at noon Eastern Time. But just because a president leaves office doesn't mean taxpayers are no longer picking up some of their bills. Our Joe St. George is in Washington and explains what benefits former presidents receive.
President Donald Trump is departing Washington, D.C. prior to the inauguration of President-elect Joe Biden. He will not be in attendance. And while Air Force One is off limits past Wednesday morning, American taxpayers will be paying President Donald Trump's bills, well, for the rest of his life, at least for now. Here are some lifetime perks of being a former president. According to the Former Presidents Act, he'll get a yearly salary of around $219,000 a year. Former presidents get raises to match what current cabinet secretaries are paid. Lifetime Secret Service protection is valued at $1 million a year. And for the first 30 months, $150,000 a year will be given to employee staffers, $96,000 a year after that. Taxpayers are also responsible for paying office space, which averages around $500,000 annually. Former presidents also have access to taxpayer-funded mail privileges as well, which means he won't have to pay for postage if he wants to write a letter. Of course, all of this could change depending upon the outcome of the Senate impeachment trial set to get underway soon. If the Senate votes to convict, it's possible they could suspend those benefits as well. In Washington, I'm Joe St. George.
Active cases of COVID-19 in Montana continue to sit just below 5,000. Two more deaths, though, have been reported since last night, bringing the statewide death total to 1,115. Active hospitalizations continue to decline and sit just over 160. Now, MTN does use a combination of state and local data to provide you with the most up-to-date numbers regarding COVID-19 in our state. And because of that, our numbers may differ from the state's. Well, cleanup efforts are nearly complete for a state Superfund site east of Lincoln, and it's now open for recreation. The Mike Horse Dam was built in 1941 to contain mine tailings. When it failed in 1975, it sent decades of mining waste into nearby rivers, streams, and floodplains. The Upper Blackfoot Mining Complex cleanup, which removed around 1 million cubic yards of mine waste, was funded through a $39 million settlement with Atlantic Ridgefield and Asarco. A nonprofit, Blackfoot Challenge, is now working on a self-guided tour with kiosks that will cover a range of topics including unique plants and wildlife and the history of mining in the area. Well, when we come back, Chief Meteorologist Curtis Grevenitz will have a complete check of your forecast, and later, your second stimulus payment may look a little different than last time. We'll have more on that after the break.
Tracker weather starts now with Chief Meteorologist Curtis Grevenitz.
All right, welcome back, everybody. So the wind is a problem. Again, we've had some gusts up to 96 miles per hour just south of the glacier area. I've never driven that fast on my scooter here, but some strong winds too into parts of Fergus County, gusts up over 60 miles per hour, hence the blowing snow. But the wind will continue to howl out the high line here through the overnight hours into tomorrow morning. Now the high wind warning set to expire at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, but we're still windy. However, the wind will slowly be easing up as we go through the morning hours into the afternoon. When will the wind really die down? By Thursday, and then I think we all get a little break from the very gusty winds that we've had here for quite some time. You can kind of see some blowing snow here right along Highway 89, right around the Geyser area. 38 degrees in Great Falls, and there's some of that wind, 43 mile per hour wind gusts in Great Falls. Helena, calm conditions or very light wind in the valley. Up on McDonald Pass, though, we've got some gusty conditions here. The wind warming up the plains here and north central Montana up into the upper 30s and the lower 40s. Clouds moving in, though, overhead, and there you can see the sustained winds, consistent winds, 44 miles per hour in Cut Bank right now, 29 miles per hour in Lewistown. There's Havre at 31, and there are some of the gusts, 44 mile per hour gusts in Havre, 58 mile per hour gusts in Cut Bank, and again the Rocky Mountain front and parts of central Montana have already seen some gusts up over 60 miles per hour. Snow, not an issue with this little system coming through here. Do have some snow down into the higher elevations of the Four Corners and also into the northeast. Boy, they really need some rain and snow, some precipitation, as the drought is severe for a lot of the southwestern United States right now. So good to see them getting a little moisture. For Montana, partly to mostly cloudy skies here overnight tonight. And again, this system mainly about the wind. The strong gusty winds will continue through the rest of this evening, through the overnight, and then slowly ease back as we go through Wednesday afternoon. Mostly sunny skies for a lot of the state here, except closer to the mountains. We'll have a little more in the way of some cloud cover. And then, ooh, look at this little sneaky snow developing in the southwestern part of the state here. A little light snow moving up through about the Helena area by Thursday afternoon. It looks like a line from about Missoula through Great Falls and Lewistown. Better chance for snow south of that line. Pretty much nothing north of that line. Even south of Great Falls, not really looking at much in the way of snow until you get down to around the Helena area. But snowfall, nothing tonight, nothing tomorrow, but through the day on Thursday, just a little light accumulation continuing through Thursday evening into the Helena area. Here's the forecast for tonight. Very windy conditions, tough traveling here across a lot of the north central part of the state. Not that cold, but we've got that wind, so that will make for a pretty nippy little wind chill out there. Teens into the Little Belts, and again, watch the blowing snow north of the Little Belts and north of the Big Snowies. Here is the forecast for tomorrow. Looking at, again, a pretty windy day. However, the strongest winds are occurring right now and will continue through the overnight hours here. But through the day tomorrow, that wind will slowly ease back. Sunshine, a lot of sunshine for a lot of locations, but also looking at a decent amount of wind. Here's the 7-day forecast for Helena. A little more cloud cover and the wind up to about 20 miles per hour. Some light snow likely Thursday afternoon, Thursday night into Friday morning. Saturday and Sunday partly cloudy right now, and maybe another chance of some light accumulating snow through Monday night and Tuesday. And for Great Falls, looking at a windy night and a very windy day tomorrow. Some light snow mainly south of town Thursday night into Friday. Better chance for some snow across north central Montana coming towards Monday night and Tuesday of next week.
Well, people around Montana are starting to receive their second stimulus payments, but be aware they may look different than you're expecting. MTN's Jonathan Ambarian takes a closer look at what you need to know.
If you received your first federal stimulus payment in a check like this one, you might receive the second one in a card like this. That's just one of a number of questions people may have about the latest round of stimulus payments. Places like First Interstate Bank in Helena have been fielding many of those questions.
We've had a lot of inquiries just about the status of payments. The legitimacy of the cards has been a really common question.
The federal government approved a new round of $600 payments at the end of December. The U.S. Treasury Department reports about 8 million of those went out in the form of a prepaid Visa debit card. They say it's a faster way to get money out to people. Those in the western U.S. are more likely to get a card. But there has been some confusion. The cards aren't mailed from a government address, but from a P.O. box in Nebraska. There have been reports nationwide that some people are throwing them away, thinking they're junk mail.
You know, in all the communication, reports that we were hearing, things like that, it was always referred to as a check. So when a debit card showed up in the mail, there was a little bit of a surprise.
So, how can you recognize a stimulus card if you get one? It comes in a white envelope that says important information about your economic impact payment. Inside, you'll find the Treasury Department logo. The Visa card is issued by MetaBank, and you'll receive instructions on how to activate it. Once you have this card activated, you can use it the same place as you would a normal Visa debit card. You can also withdraw money from ATMs and transfer the money to your bank account. Most of the services will be free, but a few will cost a fee. In Helena, Jonathan Amberian, MTN News.
If you have accidentally thrown your card away, well, there's a customer service number you can call to get a replacement. The IRS has also set up an online tool that shows you when your stimulus payment was sent to you. You can find links to both those on our website. And coming up next on the News at 5, we'll tell you how this season has been especially an uphill battle for the Hart Butte boys basketball team.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching MTN News at 5.
Welcome back, everybody. The Hart Butte boys basketball team have won the last 3 District 10C titles. But as Tom Wiley explains, claiming a fourth might be the Warriors' toughest test yet.
The Hart Butte boys are used to overcoming obstacles on the way to success. But 2021 threw a new challenge at the Warriors.
We had about 10 kids not try out just due to COVID. They were just wanting to protect their families, and we have a lot of kids that live in multi-generational homes, so they opted out just to keep their grandmothers and grandfathers safe. There's nothing I can really do about that. I mean, to be honest, I could also be proud about that.
That left Hart Butte with just 9 players on the roster and no sub-varsity teams, meaning the Warriors don't even have enough bodies to scrimmage 5-on-5 in practice.
It's a challenge for me mostly just because I've never had this situation. I've always been able to manage even a 20-player practice, and in this situation, I couldn't do no 5-on-5, so every now and then I'll step in as an extra body. I don't play, but just to have that extra look.
Despite the small roster and the challenges at practice, the Warriors are still the Warriors. They've started the season 5-1 and are eyeing a 4th straight District 10C championship.
As much as Rez has been shut down since April in lockdown, these guys still found a way to work out in their driveways. These guys know that the target is on their back, and everybody that we play is going to bring their A game. So they're not whining about it. They accept the challenge and ready to take on whatever is ahead of them.
Tom Wiley, MTN Sports.
Now, Hart Butte doesn't allow fans at home games, but Hal encourages the community to mask up and watch the games on the NFHS network. And stick around because we'll wrap things up here when we come back.
When we welcome our West Coast viewers, why some National Guard members have been removed from duty at the U.S. Capitol. Also, the big changes to the SAT test, streamlining and cutting some sections. Why that worries some students. More ahead on Nightly News.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching MTN News at 5.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Wrapping things up tonight with some good news. You still have time if you're playing the lottery. Players have another chance to win big this week with dueling jackpots, adding up to more than $1.5 billion, yes, billion with a B, dollars. The Powerball jackpot has grown to $730 million, and the Mega Millions jackpot soared to an estimated $850 million after there were no winners in the latest drawings for each lottery. Now, this is the first time both games have simultaneously posted jackpots over $700 million. And as it stands right now, the Powerball jackpot prize would be the 5th biggest in the history of the United States. And if a winner claims the Mega Millions after the next drawing, it would be the 3rd largest jackpot in the nation's history. Well, thank you for making us a part of your evening. Catch us back here tonight at 6 and always online at ktvh.com.